So welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Sarah Hare and I'm the coordinator of student leadership and development here at Tidewater Community College. And I work with an amazing set of student life professionals here. And we are responsible for creating some awesome opportunities for you. And today's keynote presenter is one of those opportunities. So National Hispanic Heritage Month takes place September 15th through October 15th every year. And it is here as a time for us to recognize and celebrate the many contributions, diverse cultures, and extensive histories of the Hispanic Latino community. Beginning in 1968, Hispanic Heritage Month was originally observed as Hispanic Heritage Week, but it was later extended to a month in 1988. And since then, Hispanic Heritage Month has been celebrated nationwide through festivals, art shows, conferences, community gatherings, and much more, including keynote presentations such as today's. The month also celebrates Independence Days of several Latin American countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and on September 15th, and Mexico on September 16th, and Chile on September 18th. We are excited to welcome our 2022 National Hispanic Heritage Month speaker and special guest, Ms. Jackie Cruz. Jackie is a popular singer, songwriter, and actress, best known for her role as Flocka on Netflix hit series Orange is the New Black. Jackie is a multi-talented artist who has entertained thousands with her unique sound, artistic skills, and groundbreaking roles. Cruz can most recently be seen starring opposite Lucy Hale in A Nice Girl Like You, and other credits include a recurring role on NBC's Good Girls. Up next, she can be seen starring in Universal's Tremors' Shrieker's Island. Undeterred after a near-fatal car accident that almost left her paralyzed, Cruz is the epitome of strength, determination, and resolve. Formerly one of the top Latino powerhouses under 40 by The Hollywood Reporter, Cruz lives her life based on her belief that joy comes from being blessed to do what she loves and being able to share it with others. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Jackie Cruz.
Hi. Hi, everyone. This is so strange that I won't be able to see your faces while I talk to you because I'm all about that interaction, but I hope you can feel my vibe through this lens. I'll officially introduce myself. As she said before, you probably know me as Flocka from Orange is the New Black. I could talk this like for 3 hours talking about what an incredible opportunity that was for me, but I'm going to start from the beginning. So I am from the Dominican Republic. I was born in New York, though, Queens, and my mother had me at a very young age, a teen, actually. And she wanted to become a doctor as well. So she was a nurse in New York City. And then around 7 years old, we moved to the Dominican Republic, where we were surrounded by family, by all my tias and all my primas. And, we were a little bit more solo when we were in New York. But then we came to the DR and, I went to an American kind of school. So that's why my English doesn't really have too much of an accent. And my mom studied to become a doctor there. And then all my tias, they took care of me. I didn't have my father in my life. And, but it was okay because I was surrounded by love and by women that showed me kind of how to be the person I am today. So my mom, she would have all these medicine, books and all these, she would show me these videos. I'm like 7 years old and she didn't want me to end up like her and be a young mom. So I'm 7 years old. She's showing me all these videos of women giving birth, all these terrible things that could happen to you when, that happens, right? So I've been afraid of men for a long time. I do have babies now, but I am in my 30s, so it's fine. And so what was great about, my mom, I felt like I'm almost living her dream. So, she would always take me to the movies because she loved it. Films, cinema was a big thing for her. So that was our thing we did together, maybe on the weekends when she wasn't studying so much. So the first movie that she kind of took me to that kind of I could never forget was The Bodyguard. And I just saw Whitney Houston singing her heart out, acting, and I saw it in the Dominican Republic, and the light kind of like goes out still till this day. So like the power went out, but like, you know, I was talking, I was like, Mom, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm like 6 or 7. And I was like, I hope the light comes back on. And it did. And it was like this great, it was like the finale of the movie. And I was just like on the walk home, I told my mom, that's what I want to do when I, grow up. And she's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to sing and I want to act. And then, my mom, she was also raised in New York, being Dominican. And she's like, let me see if you got what it takes, if you got potential. Again, I'm like 6 years old, but my mom, she treated me like an adult since I was little, And then, I sang for her, and I, would imitate inappropriate scenes, like Pretty Woman, like things like that. And she's like, I would make people laugh, and imitate like my aunts and everything. And she's like, okay, I think you got potential, So around age 15, right, we moved from the Dominican Republic to LA. I think I was the only Dominican at the time. Well, no, there were a few, but very little sprinkled in Dominicans in LA, So I came from the Dominican Republic, so I was a little bit, more tan, and I had long curly hair and, brown, and I spoke Spanish, fluent Spanish, and they didn't understand where to place me, because again, in California, you're close to, Mexico. So they assume, even until this day, visually, they assume that, all Latinos are from Mexico, which that's obviously not the case. So things are changing now, and I think has a lot to do with my TV show that I was a part of. It was like still the most diverse women's show in, history. But so my mom, we moved there. Things were different, the Dominican Republic, we had pesos. So, we had a little bit more money. So we had like a apartment with like my own room. And then when we moved to America, my mom became a doctor, but she became no one when we moved to America. So she gave up her career so I could live my dream. So we're living in a little studio apartment in Koreatown. And my mom took me to this school called Hamilton Music Academy. And to get in, you had to audition. So they already had a lot of actors, because that's what Hollywood is about, So I went in through music, which was not vocals. I played the saxophone. So a lot of people don't know that, but I played the saxophone for 10 years. And I got in through jazz bands, right? And then after you're in, you could take whatever classes you want that, So I took a lot of performing arts classes. I took chamber singers. I took drama class. I took dance team. I took marching band. I did jazz band. And then at night, I started taking all my academic courses and also summer school. So I finished high school at 16. So my last year, all I did was performing arts classes, because that was my focus, right? And my mom's like, you got to get to work, right? She made me feel like I was late, but I wasn't. It was the right time, because my mind was there, and I already knew what I wanted to do. What I think what's wonderful about me knowing what I wanted to do at 6 years old was that it felt real to me. And when you grow up, people like, oh, you have to find something real. You got to find something that'll, pay the bills. You can't just like dream, But I love that I had that moment of clarity at 6 years old, and nobody could break my dream. And I had a person like my mother, even though all my aunts are like, finish school, finish this, go to college. But my mom is like, no, Jackie, I know you can do this, and that's so special, because a lot of people, don't have a mentor or a mom or a dad who believe in you. And it's even harder, because believing in yourself, I think, is the hardest thing ever. But when you have someone who believes in you, it makes it a little bit easier to believe in yourself. And I had the most important person believe in me, which was my mom. So here we are, in Hollywood. And my mom is like, all right, Jackie, if you want anything for yourself, you're going to have to work, because I can't work right now. I'm getting pesos turned into dollars. So we had like a 400 square foot studio apartment. My bed was in the kitchen. My twin bed was in the kitchen. Her blow up bed was like in the living room slash, whatever room. And but it was cool because again, like I was surrounded by things I wanted to be. So I had like a cashier job at like Baja Fresh. And then I had it was so funny. I had this coat check job at this underage club called Club 17. And I was surrounded by these Disney kids, like the Hillary Duff days, Lizzie McGuire days. I don't know how young y'all are, but I don't know. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but like Seventh Heaven, like all these, Disney and young actors, right? And I'm their age, and I'm surrounded by, this Full House, like the Olsen twins, like whatever. And again, like I would, just be there, and it just felt more real to me, and then, this is probably, don't let Hillary know, but I would check her first, see what she's bringing. No, I'm just kidding. But I would do little, things. I'm like, and then I made friends with them too, which was really, really cool, and then, I met this one girl, and she was, maybe probably not the best girl that I should be hanging out with. But she was like, oh, yeah, she's 16. I have my own apartment. I have my own car. Girl, I was taking I don't know, girl, boy, they, them. I was taking the bus everywhere, right? To work, to school. And it was like an hour bus to get to high school every morning. But this girl had a car. She had a manager. She was auditioning. She had, again, everything that I was trying to get as well. So I was kind of, looking up to her. And then, but my mom was like, be careful with that girl. I don't really trust her. And, you don't really listen to your mom, you just hang around people that you think, are it for you. And I had like, it was kind of hard in high school because I moved to LA in 11th grade, and I saw a lot of things that little teens shouldn't see. These kids were already adults. I'm already like goody two shoes Christian girl, not able to wear, two-piece like bathing suit, so they did call me goody two shoes, and I started to rebel, against my mom. I would take, sexy clothes to school. I started to kind of hang out with kind of the bad chicks in school, and then started to ditch class. I started to ditch even my work, and I started hanging out with this girl who would drive me everywhere. She would even drive me to school because she quit school, right? She quit high school. She quit all these things. And then my mom comes and she tells me, Jackie, Jose is coming to live with us. And I'm like, Mom, are you crazy? That's her boyfriend at the time. I was like, what are you doing, Mom? This is like a studio apartment. I'm not going to have any privacy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a teen girl. Like, no, I don't want this. So long story short was that she's like, well, Jackie, he's coming to live with us, and I'm going to marry him and all these things. And I was like, well, I told the girl that I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with, let's call her, let's call her Kelly. Let's call her Kelly, right? And so Kelly she's like, you know what, Jackie, you should come live with me. I have an apartment. I could drive you to school. I could drive you to work, whatever. I can introduce you to my manager. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Let me go tell my Dominican mom who changed her career, who left everything in the Dominican Republic, who is broke because of me, who is no one in America because of me, that I don't want to live with her anymore. So I said, Mommy, I don't want to live here anymore. And I'm going to live with Kelly. And she's waiting for me outside. And thank you for coming here with me, but I know what I'm doing. Okay. And she's like, oh, you want to go be an adult? All right, then go be an adult. But guess what, Jackie? Don't ever come back. And I said, okay, cool. My ride's outside, my Honda Civic. I was so impressed by her Honda Civic. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, I'll go outside. We go to her, her house. She has like again, she's staying with these kids that are already on TV, you know, like surrounded by just like, again, these, you know, kids that don't really have parents that are living that life, you know, and alone and in great time, you know, great time. And then this is what happened. The mom stopped sending her money. So I would kind of pitch in with food and maybe like $100, $200 for rent or whatever, but it was very expensive. So her mother stopped sending her money and she's like, Jackie, I'm losing the apartment. Is there any way you can talk to your mom? Maybe we could go live with her, right? I was like, all right, let me go ask my mom. So I like knock on the door and I was like, hey mom, I was like, this is Kelly. Can we come in or whatever? And I tell her the situation. She feeds us. You know, whenever I was hungry, my mother always fed me. You know, I was never like hungry on the streets. And she fed both of us. You know, she, you know, was kind of playing devil's advocate and becoming friendly with Kelly, even though she knew that she wasn't right for me, but kind of, you know how moms are. Now that I'm a mom, I understand what she was doing, very, you know, being very manipulative. Let me, you know, keep my enemies close, right? So I told my mom what happened, and I was like, Mom, do you think we could live in here, or you could give us money so we can get our own place, a new place? And my mom's like, listen, Jackie, I told you that it's hard to be an adult, and you know, you got to do it on your own. So here's some food and bye. But like, give me a hug, because I don't know if anything could happen to you. Just give me a hug. I do remember that, right? And then we left, and then my friend and I got kicked out of the apartment, and we were living. So we were homeless, you know. But I would say that like I told you, I was skipping like work and stuff, and then this night we stayed at a friend's house. They were having a party. They had no parents home, so we stayed at the friend's house. And I remember just partying all night again. You know what I mean? Like drinking when I'm not supposed to be drinking, like things like that. And it was morning time. And my friend won tickets to like a Wango Tango concert for Kiss FM. And we're on our way there, right? And I always wear my seatbelt, always, always, always. But this time I don't know. I forgot about it. I was like in the moment. I don't know what happened. And I guess the girl that was driving, Kelly, she was racing the guy kind of that we stayed at his house. And he was showing us the way to the freeway, but they were racing there. And I was just like, what is going on? I remember her going really fast. And I'm like, can you please slow down? Like, you're scaring me, please. And then she's tried to slow down, and she lost control of the wheel, and she hit the curb, and she was going 80 miles an hour, and the curb hit the curb, and the car flipped 3 times, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. So I went out the window. I was 20 feet away from the car. The guy who was racing us saw me in the rear view just fly out of the car, right? So my head was like, you know, in the concrete. It was just awful. And I supposedly got up and I said, I'm fine. And then I fainted. Usually people die after that. But then a guy on a bicycle called 911. The girl that was my friend called her mom, not 911, said, Mom, I was in an accident. I don't have a license. What do I do? Instead of saving my life, she called her mom, worried about herself. And then this random guy on the bicycle saved my life. And I was rushed to emergency. And I had long curly hair, like all the way below my waist. And I had to have emergency brain surgery. So they shaved my head. And I was in a coma, and I guess I was dying, and they told my mom that she had to say goodbye to me. And then I couldn't breathe on my own because I had a lung collapse, a kidney contusion. I broke 2 vertebrae and a subarachnoid hemorrhage in my brain. So like a blood clot. So mother almost died with me, you know, and it was really tough for her because she was pregnant at the time and I didn't know. And obviously, you know, she didn't eat until, you know, I came back to life, and I didn't know, you know. So again, my mom said, let her breathe on her own. She's a singer. She wants to sing. And I know that I'm going to pray about it. Just give her one more day. And I started to breathe on my own because usually when they open this up, it messes up with your vocals and you kind of like, you don't know what could happen after that. So the next day I started breathing on my own, and I had like everyone at church praying for me. And it was a miracle. Like I started to breathe on my own. I started to kind of react like to people when they came in, and I don't remember any of this obviously. And then I started to write things like, Mom, I'm so sorry. And then I would write to my friends that were there for me, because I kind of left my real friends to hang out with the people that were not good for me. I'm so sorry, Cuckoo Head, which was like my best friend. I'm so sorry. I was like not myself. I'm sorry. I love you, and all these things. And I kind of found out who my true friends were while I was in a coma and all these things. So some of the Disney people came to see me, which was really cool. And then this girl, Kelly, and her mom, she was like, well, thank God nothing happened to my daughter, because she's going to be famous one day. And this girl's wearing like a crop top, like kind of like hooking up with the guy that I liked while I'm in a coma. It was really terrible stuff, that things that I heard after. So my mother got her and her mom kicked out of the hospital, like my friends did, because she was making everyone feel uncomfortable. While I'm in a coma, her mom is like, thank God nothing happened to my daughter, all these things. And nothing happened to her, nothing. So they kicked her out, and my mom didn't let me speak to her. The girl would call all the time, and my mom didn't let me speak to her. So I woke up 2 weeks later, not knowing what happened, right? I have a tube down my throat. My eyes are crooked. My face is crooked. I can't walk. And I could sit up, and then I look at myself, and I look at myself sideways because I'm crooked, and I try to smile and I can't, because half of my face is paralyzed, and I guess that, you know, the sixth nerve or whatever is swollen, so my eyes are crooked. So again, the doctor doesn't know if I'll be able to see right again, like talk again, normal, walk again, all these things. So I get really depressed. Again, I'm a little, you know, teenager, and you know, when you're that age, all you care about is having friends and fitting in and being liked, and by boys, by girls, making friends. And that was all taken away from me. And also being in Hollywood, all I saw was, you know, kind of like people that didn't look like me. So again, it was an impossible mission. And now the beauty that I thought I had, which was my long hair and my face, was all taken away from me. So I didn't want to live. I actually tried not to live, even though God saved my life. And I was sent to this rehabilitation center. And I guess there was this little 10-year-old girl named Melly. And I guess she told me this recently, because we're still friends. And she says, the doctors told her that there's a young girl coming in that doesn't want to live. Would you talk to her? Again, this is a 10-year-old girl talking to me. Now I'm 16. And she rolls in because was hit by a car and she'll never walk again, you know. And she also had brain surgery. We both have shaved heads. And she just tells me, you're really pretty. And I'm like, I started crying, you know. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything, you know, but to me it meant everything, because like she's seeing me like, again, bald, like crooked, like, you know, and then she sees like a beauty in me that I don't see in me, you know. And I didn't know that the doctors told her to talk to me. I just thought this little girl is looking up to me and she can never walk again, and I could learn how to do all that again, and I have to be strong, not for me but for her, you know. And that's how I knew that my story could, you know, help people, right? Inspire. So after that, like, boom, Melly totally changed my world, you know. And I started kind of volunteering in the hospital, because I was pretty much the only one who could learn how to walk and talk and do all these things again. So I painted her nails. Then there was this other little girl, Mimi, who was 6 years old. I painted her nails and we hung out. And then I had a crush on the volunteer. And my mom was like, she's going to be pretty one day. Look at her modeling pictures. She's going to be that one day. And I'm like, Mom, stop. You know, it was super embarrassing. But, you know, my mother got kind of my spirit up. Melly got my spirit up, and then they started believing in me. And again, it's like, again, when someone believes in you, it helps you believe in you too, right? So after that, you know, I got out of the hospital when I was 18, rehabilitation center, and I went to the Dominican Republic with all my aunts waited for me with open arms. I started working out, you know, really hard. I started controlling, you know, I started walking again and then running and doing the things that I could, you know, control, which was my body. You know, and my face started coming back and my eyesight started coming back. The doctors didn't even believe that I was alive, number one, and that all these things were coming back to me, right? So then I go back to Hollywood, you know, and I start to get, you know, an agency, and it's really hard again because, again, now I'm still not what they're looking for, and now I'm not myself because I don't have that long hair, and I looked a little different, and I'm a little older, and I'm just like trying to fit in again. So I meet one of these girls that I met at the underage club. She was a sweetheart. She was on a TV show, and she introduced me to her agent. And her agent was like, I only take teens, like 15-year-olds. And I'm like, I could play 15, I swear. And like, I bothered him until he took me, right? And he's like, all right, you know, let me see if you got what it takes. And then in 2006, I got my first role on The Shield. I played a 15-year-old, but I was 19, you know. But again, they were like all these victim roles and gangster girlfriend and like, you know, maids and like, you know, all these things that I was just like, all right, they don't get me. They don't get like if I continue to do roles like this, you know, girls like me are going to think that's all we can be, you know? So I kind of gave up on acting a little bit because, you know, they weren't, all the auditions, they were kind of bringing me down. So I started to sing, and singing brought me to Miami. And then in Miami, singing brought me to New York again, where I was born. And I started, you know, working in nightlife and clubs and things like that. And I was around 21 or 22 or 20, and then around 23. And then I met this girl who had a manager. And I was like, you know what? After 6-7 years of not acting, I said, I kind of want to try again. You know, I'm in New York. These are where our Dominicans are. There's a bit mix of, you know, Colombians, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, all, you know, Costa Ricans, Nicaraguans, you know, Salvadorians, all these different Latinos that weren't in LA. You know, maybe, you know, I will be, you know, more visible here, right? So my friend was like, yeah, go with my manager. Like, she would love to meet you. And my first audition was Blanca, right? And my brother, he's like, you're so Malibu. My brother's very New York. And he's like, you got to be New York, Jack. So like, you know, obviously I'm New York, you know, but being in LA a little bit kind of like took away a little bit my accent. So my brother helped me get it back, you know, and I kind of imitated a girl from my work. And where is she from? Ecuador. And she was a feisty Latina, and she drank a little bit. Now she doesn't drink anymore, but she would get so feisty when she had her tequila. And I would just imitate her a lot, you know, and she's like, don't mess with my 3 M's, my man, my money, and my mama, right? And I would just, you know, imitate her and then not make fun of her, but she would just be like, Jackie, do me, you know? So when I had that audition, I imitated her, right? And I only had 2 lines. And then Jen Houston was the casting director, and she was like, that was great. Can you do it like this and this and that? And, you know, I didn't see anyone else there. It was weird. Like, it was just meant for me. And then I called my brother after the audition, and I was like, yo, I think I got this, son. I think I got this. And then a taxi almost ran over me. I'm like, I'm like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna hit me? Come here, hit me. You know, I was so in the method acting. I was like fire, right? And then I didn't hear from them. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, I got the part, you know? And I'm thinking, you know, it was just a day player. But then I was also thinking, I'm like, this is prison. If they like me, you know, they could bring me back, you know? And again, it was one of those first shows on Netflix that have never, you know, it was streaming, and it was like, my family was like, is this a web series? Like, no one knew what it was, right? So I was like, you know, it was like Survivor in there too. It was like almost an experiment. Like, it was me and Tasty, and we were fighting, and I was like, girl, just hit me. Like, I don't care. And we started really like hitting each other. It was crazy. And it was awesome. It was the best experience of my life. And I kept getting phone calls to come in next episode. So that's how it started, right? And then I go back to my life, right? And I think of all the things, all the times I wanted to give up. And I think about all the times that like my life was almost taken from me. And I think about like Melly, and I think about my mom, and I think about my aunts, and I think about, you know, not wanting to live and all these things. And I'm like, wow, God had this plan the whole time. Like, I would have not worried so much, you know? And, you know, and I learned a lot from that. And I learned that I never, ever should put a time limit on my dream. Like, for me, this is still just the beginning. Like, I'm shooting a movie right now. I'm in Texas. I'm in San Antonio. And that's maybe why you hear a little bit of a twang right now. Like this is actually a role I'm playing. And I've been, you know, listening to a lot. I got to have a little twang right now. Sorry, I'm method. And I, you know, I could get in, I could get out. And I just, you know, singing is still, you know, my heart and soul, but acting is a place where I could be, you know, other people and inspire you by becoming this other person. But singing is, and I'm a little shy when I do it, because I'm like, oh, if you don't like my character, you don't like her, you know, you don't like Flocka, that's okay, that's not me. But if you don't like, you know, my singing, and that's really who I am. And I don't know. So I don't know if you could take anything from this today. I just want to reiterate, like, never, ever, ever, ever put a time limit on your dream. I mean, I started at 6. I got my big break in my mid-20s. I'm not going to tell you what, mid-20. And now I'm in my 30s, and it's still the beginning for me. Thank you so much for listening. And I can't wait to hear your questions. And I have a music video I want to play for you that it's called Melly 16. It's inspired by Melly, and the real Melly is in the music video, and it's directed by this amazing man called Sebastian Siddiqui, and we lost him this year. And you know, COVID has screwed us all up, and he was only 33. He had a heart attack, and he directed the music video, so it's like really, really special. So would it be okay if you guys play Melly 16 for me?
Absolutely. So what we'll do is go back into Zoom land
Thank
here.
you for listening.
Yeah, it will screen share your video so everyone can have a chance to see it. Hang on a second. And here.
Not made of honey, never been little, sweet 16. She had big dreams, she saw big things she'll never see. I didn't remain, never be little, sweet 16. know me. Flashbacks take me back like a movie. Now the doors are open now, even through the ups and downs. Navigate, I'm still en route. Got lost and then I found. Now the doors are open now, even through the ups and downs. Navigate, I'm still en route. Got lost and then I found me. I found me. I found me. I found me. Free to be me. I found me. Free to be me. Sweet 16. Innocent girl, you meant the world. The things you didn't know, emotional, hard to let go. Taught me to grow. The strength you saw in me, I didn't see clearly. Sweet 16, you looked up to me, and you believed I was destined to be. Stripped away from my own beauty, thought everyone could see through me. Didn't wanna get used to the new me. Flashbacks take me back like a movie. Now the doors are open now, even through the ups and downs. Navigate, I'm still en route. Got lost and then I found. Now the doors are open now, even through the ups and downs. Navigate, I'm still en route. Got lost and then I found me. I found me. I found me. I found me. Free to be me. I found me. Free to be me.
Jackie, that was amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely
you.
amazing. So you're over here talking about, hold on. It's still going. It's saying, no, we're going to go again. So you're over here talking about the fact that maybe you don't want to be seen because that's the singing side of you, just as great as the acting side of you. That was awesome.
Thank you. I get a little emotional too because, you know, like my friend directed that and we just lost him like 6 months ago. So it's been, it's hard to see. Crap. I only cry when it's passionate. Yeah. He definitely believed.
It's a good tribute. It's a good tribute.
Yeah.
So we have some questions for you that students have submitted prior to today's session. And I'm wondering, is it okay if we go ahead and get started on some of those with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sorry I got emotional. I haven't seen
No.
it since he passed. So I'm like, crap. Woo.
There's never
Hey, this
never
is
a
what it's
cause.
about, right? Real life. This is real life. You know, I get to pretend, but when you feel something that I do on TV, I take it from real life. So that's why when I tell someone else's story, it's coming out very true because I use my truth to tell their truth, you know? If that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. And that's really what helps make it that authentic experience,
Right.
you know, and makes it relatable to everyone else in the room, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's what helps bring characters to life for us, that they're not just this, they're not just something that we like in the moment, but they really become a part of our lives. So continue to do your method ways.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
We are in Virginia, so we don't mind a little twang down here. So
Hey, my babies were born in Virginia.
where at? disclosing all the personals, I'm sorry.
Inova Fairfax.
Yeah, Nova, nice.
Yeah.
So Northern Virginia Community College is one of our sister colleges here in the state, and our biggest competitor, with a friendly rivalry there.
All right.
Amongst us.
So
So a couple of questions have already been answered, but there are a couple that I think really resonate that I want to make sure that we hit. And one of them is that, do you think that being Hispanic helped you better represent FLACA and the Hispanic Latino community in the show? I know you shared that you felt that was really meant for you, because you're just walking out of there on cloud nine, almost getting run over by a taxi, but walking out of there on cloud nine, knowing that was something for you. But do you think that, being Hispanic helps you really represent her?
No, of course. I mean, literally, I was called Flaca my whole life. You know what I mean? Like that was my nickname growing up. Like, que viene la flaca, So, you can't, like, I'm a little disappointed that James Franco is playing like a Cuban, I don't know if you heard, but he's playing like Fidel Castro, right?
Yeah.
What does he know about, that, So I feel like Orange is the New Black was the first show that authentically cast the correct cast, because that is the reason we became so popular, because people were seeing themselves on screen. It was like Diane and I, when we walked at the mall, or Soho, after like one day of Orange is coming out, people recognized us. They thought we were, they're like their cousin or something. They're like, girl, what's up, girl? And it was really cool to like, we were in your living room. I know a girl like that. You know what I mean? That's like my tia. That's my cousin. So yeah, of course, you have to be a part of the community to represent the community correctly. Yes.
Yeah. So you shared with us privately, but you are a proud mom of twins now, right?
Yeah, 7-month-old twins.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So one of the students would like to know, how has being a mother changed your perspective on roles that you might take, or just your engagement in the acting community in general?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking. I thought I knew what love was. I had no idea. I'm so deep. I'm super deep now. I feel so much more. And I thought I was already like dramatic and I had all my feelings. And no, I didn't understand what true love was. And I've had my heart broken many times, but that was nothing compared to having a child. And when you walk away from them, you leave your heart with them. So it's really hard. Yeah. So being a mom has made me try harder, like people think like, oh, your career is over. Not true. I'm filming a movie right now and they're right here. They're right here in the home with me. I showed you guys them earlier, and I want to make it even more now, because I don't want them to think that like, just because you're a mom now that you can't be who you want to be still. No, I'm still my own person. I'm still someone that I want to inspire for them, not just, being a great mom is wonderful, and staying at home with them, that's a full-time job, because I do that. When I don't work, that's what I do. And my husband is here, and he, we balance each other. When he works, I take them. When I work, he takes them. So, and then my aunts, but in the jobs that I take, I'm not going to say I've become more picky. No, because, again, it's not like I have this full platter of things that I want to do, because still they still don't understand and get us. So I'm creating again my own thing. If you guys have a moment on Rico, RICO film on Instagram, and you can click on it, and it's a short, that an animation that I produced with a director called Chris Mercado, and we won South by Southwest. And now that animation was bought from Illumination, and it's going to become this feature. So like I'm creating my own like film with my Hispanic community and telling my stories through them and through the eyes of you know a Latin lens, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm pitching my own TV show, and yeah, being a mom just makes me want to work harder. And I thought I was already hustling, you know. Now I gotta hustle because I want to not just impress them, but I want them to be proud of me, and I want that's my mom, you know. And I want and I want to show them the impossible, so they can do the impossible. And I have a lot of people tell me like, why'd you bring, like, I have some downers in the family, like, why'd you bring children into this terrible world? And what makes you think that they're not going to change the world, you know? And for them to change the world, they have to see me trying to change the world. So
Yes.
I don't know. It's just, it's impossible. Like, I feel like I have to start from zero every time. Like, you know, I do a new series or like, you know, I do a new movie. Like I did 4 movies this year, and I gave birth in February, and I did a movie 3 months after, and then another movie a month after, and it's good. It's great, you know. And I'm doing these films. Some of them are like comedy, and maybe they're not like Oscar winning films yet, but it's taking me there. And it's also, I'm working on while I shoot movies, I work on my skills, you know what I mean? And, you know, and if you want to make a movie, pick up a camera. Like, you guys just saw my music video. Like, yes, that was expensive stuff. And thanks to Orange is the New Black, I got to be able to afford something like that. But now I realize with social media, you can just make things with your own iPhone. Like, I learned that Hollywood is a place of imagination with no vision. And if you want to show them, you got to show them yourself, you know?
For sure.
I don't know. That's a long answer to a small question.
No, I read a quote the other day that said, sometimes our greatest contribution is not what we do, but who we raise. So
I love
there
it.
you go. So we have a couple of questions from students that are joining us on YouTube that I want to make sure that we address. Jessica Soto would like to know, what type of doctor was your mom?
Oh, okay. So my mom she just finished being a general doctor, just a general doctor. But in the Dominican Republic, she worked at a clinic. You know, it is a third world country. And what I loved about when I saw my mom work, you know, I was very young, that she worked in a little community, a poor community, you know, and that, you know, the government was paying for the medicine. So she was a general doctor, but she was the doctor of the town, and people loved her, and they brought her food, and they brought, you know, that my mom saved a lot of lives, and she, you know, birthed a lot of children, and people loved her. And that's so special to me that she gave up all that, you know, for me. And she's proud of me. All right. But I'm still not where I need to be for her. So again, like, I'm doing this also for my mom, and just like, she made me believe in the impossible. And her being a doctor, being a teen mom, becoming a nurse, then a doctor, that also was inspiring to me. And then giving all that up for me. And even though I was a little pain in the bum and didn't, you know, she's like, I can't wait for you to have a daughter. You know, you're going to be in big trouble. And I'm like, I have a daughter and a son now. And I'm like, crap. Cause my husband, he was also a bad teen. He was sent to military high school. So we're going to be in trouble, but hopefully, you know, we learned our lesson, and we'll try to be, you know, what we can be. But our kids, you know, I learned that they have to make their own mistakes, you know, but hopefully they could learn a little bit from mine, you know.
I think sharing of the story,
Was that the answer?
that was great. Yeah, sharing of the story really helps hopefully manifest all the stuff that we weren't supposed to do back in the day into here's a positive life lesson for you,
Yes.
children, for sure. So we have
even having children, like,
yeah,
like I wanted babies since I was 18, you know, but my mom's like, no, don't do it, right? And then like being like not even having a dad around, like I was like, you know what, when I choose my person, I'm going to choose a good father too. And that was really important for me. And my husband and I met in like 2014 or 15, and we broke up for a year and a half. And in that year and a half, like, I was like, wow, like I was with the right person, you know, and I didn't want to even get back with him, but it was just so crazy how God brings you back, you know, and makes you appreciate again. So I married him, and now we have twins, and it was not easy to you know, have babies. And here I am, like, with twins, and it was all natural. And now we live in Mexico, and you know, whenever I work, we come here, and I get away, and I feel like sometimes, you know, this life that I have is very stressful. So mental health is so important, you know, and to meditate and find your peace and cut out all the toxic people who maybe, you know, all those vampires who pretend they're your friend, but they just want to take from you. You got to cut that out. I don't care if it's your cousin or even your parents. You can't have that, you know, or you have to, your peace is the most important, and your mental state.
Yes, that's a big one for sure. And a lot of times I don't think we realize that some of the most toxic things we keep around us are in our immediate circle, and we have to make a conscious choice to be really, really aware of what that's telling us. So we have two more that I want to make sure that
can I just say this? You are like the 5 people you hang out the most. So if you hang out with 5 idiots, you're going to be the 6th idiot. Just saying.
I will endeavor to not be the 6th idiot today. And that's a global message.
Hang out with like people that you want to be like, you know what I mean? Like mentors, like, you know what I mean? Like learn from people, and, you know, like kind of not be don't be the smartest in the room either, you know, because you never learn, you know, you'll never learn.
For sure. So we have a question that kind of has twofold. So we've had it asked a couple different ways. So I'm going to try to combine it. So you just talked about feeling very confident. You knew what it was that you wanted to do from 6 years old. But did you ever encounter moments where like stage fright and just, you know, getting the courage to get up there and to even bounce back from the thanks, we're not going to call you back moments? Like, how did you overcome that?
Honestly, till this day, I still screw up. Like, I literally had a chemistry read and I self-sabotaged myself. You know, I had too much coffee and I was jittery and I was just so nervous. But you got to snap out of it. You got to snap out of it. You got to understand that you will have another opportunity, and you have to understand that what is meant for you is meant for you, because obviously, like, I don't get every role. Like, I'll be honest, I did book movies this year, but I also didn't book movies and shows that I wanted to be in as well. And then you see the person who books it. What are you going to do? Like, hate on this person? No, like, I have a good example. Like, I had this role that it was this pilot, and it was like a really big pilot that it could, you know, change my career again, you know, like an Orange is the New Black. And it was between me and some other girl. And then she got the role, right? And come to find out, I'm shooting a movie and I have to be her best friend right now with the girl who got the role. Yeah. So this happens all the time. The time. Like, I was working with another girl and she's like, guess what, Jackie, I booked the role. I'm like, what role? The role that I wanted. And, you know, what am I going to do? Hate on these people? No, I just have to be happy for them and understand that that just wasn't meant for me. That God, I don't know if y'all believe in God, but what's meant for you is meant for you. And you just can't you know, sit on like something that's not like, you just can't. You'll be sad all the time and depressed. But it's easy to say because I still cry about it, but it's okay to cry about it because it's a release too, you know, and then you on to the next one. We'll have a lot of opportunities. And again, I need to stop worrying so much because I just have to look back into my life. I got the babies I wanted. I got the husband that I wanted. I had the job that I wanted. I have the voice that I wanted. I got the talent that I wanted. So why am I worried? Everything is meant to happen when it's meant to happen. I don't care if I'm a 40-year-old pop star, 50-year-old pop star. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You just got to work on it every day, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm buying the album. So you go ahead and do that, girl. So the last
Thank
one that I
you.
have here is what are some things, so like, you know, we're all about growing and learning because it's college, right? So what are some things that colleges can do or that we should consider when we're thinking about empowering our Hispanic students, our Spanish speaking students? Like, what are some things that you can think of that we can do to help to be great on that front?
Working together, like let's see if there's like, I don't know if you guys are into film or whatever you guys are, like working as a community. That's really important because I don't even think in Hollywood we have that because it's so competitive. It's gross. It's so competitive. You know, stop competing with people, help each other. Like, all right, like who wants to write? Okay, there are 2 writers. Hey, let's work on a script. Hey, who likes to do this? Like, create a team, you know, and make something happen. Like I love working on film, like even if it's not like if I have a small role, because I get to meet people and I get to, you know, hey, I love this DP, this director of photography. Like, hey, I got his number. Like, even in this movie, I was like, yo, I want to work with you again. Like, produce my own stuff. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to like, hey, you want to work with me? I have this vision. I have this idea, but I don't know how to write, but I know visually what I want, but I want to direct, you know? Don't be afraid and don't believe anyone who tells you that it's not real. Like, I literally worked on Orange is the New Black and I did say I wanted to direct, and a producer of the show told me, be realistic. And I was like, excuse me? And I will direct, and I have directed, and I have produced, and I will continue to do it. And who knows if Orange comes back, and I guarantee you I will be directing.
Nice.
So I think as a community, I think it would be really cool to maybe make a film together.
I love that.
That could be cool.
I love that. I also just love the
Put it in the
ability
festival.
Oh, that would be fantastic. All right, you guys, you're on it.
There are so many small festivals. There are big festivals. There are small festivals. There's the Bentonville Festival. There's like all these little festivals that can get you into the bigger festivals. You never know. Like, you know what I did? I sometimes like, one of our shorts got into like a Swedish festival and we did it in Puerto Rico, like very low budget. Like, I think I put $2,000 in there. You know what I mean? Like, you can make it happen if you have a good like team and, you know, people have a vision, you can make it happen. You know what I mean? For little to no money.
And I can promise you that on the talent front, we have tons of students and faculty that meet those qualifications. I think the film is a fantastic idea. Thank you for that. So I want to, again, thank you for your time. I know that you are off to a read, I think, here in just a few minutes because you're on set, so we don't want to.
I have a call time.
Yeah, so
thank you.
We just want to say super thanks for being you, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And I think the last thing, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month is 30 days, right? But Hispanic heritage is all the time, right? So I think our final, you know, if we have a call to action for everyone that's watching or everybody that views this in the future, is that while it's only 30 days for us to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month between September 15 and October 15, we encourage you and we challenge you to broaden your lens, to listen deeply, and to share your story and the stories of others every single day of the year. Jackie, thank you so much. It's been amazing. We are so grateful for you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless. And I hope I get to meet you guys in person one day.
Yes, thank you so much.